Welcome back to the filing cabinet where I talk to you about all things setting boundaries, making money, learning how to respect and love yourself, how to run a successful business, and we even talk about leadership coaching and all of those different amazing things. Episode 2 of my podcast, F That, which was about setting and maintaining Thicc Mami boundaries, I recorded the video and then I accidentally deleted the video. so, I'm going to re record it here. I'm not going to edit it or anything. I'm just going to post what I have on YouTube, and you guys are going to love it. So let me just get my notes up here really quickly, and let's start talking about what I call Thicc Mami boundaries. Thicc spelled Thicc, Mami Mami boundaries. Now, most of my audience across all of my platforms are eldest daughters or women. And a lot of women and eldest daughters are not taught boundaries. And honestly, it's a little disturbing how many people I know that don't have boundaries, don't have a concept of what boundaries are, don't even know where to begin to set or maintain boundaries with people. They don't have any. And that's because we're taught that someone else's needs and happiness is more important than our own. And it's like, think about a time when you were younger and a parent might have said to you, "Oh, go help your brother or sister do that," after you told your parent that you were tired or that you just wanted to rest. That was you setting a boundary, and that was them disrespecting it. And so, as an adult, you might have no idea how to set boundaries or what healthy boundaries actually look like because you've grown so accustomed to people pleasing and letting people walk all over you. So, I created a 3 step process for how you set and hold and maintain Thicc Mami boundaries that are going to help you begin that process. And so, first off, I want you to shift your focus on what you believe a boundary is and why they seem so difficult for you in the first place. Most people believe that boundaries are these things that are going to light their entire world on fire, right? It's like you think that it's this all or nothing line that once you cross it, you can't come back over. It's like, oh no, I've burned that bridge, so there's no going back. And it's a very zero sum game way of thinking. It's a very all or nothing way of thinking. And that shit is just not healthy at all. Okay. And so when you think of it as an all or nothing way of looking at boundaries, or you think that setting a boundary is going to set your entire world on fire, that's just you overthinking. That's you catastrophizing everything. And that is your trauma of living in survival mode coming out to rear its ugly head. You can have loving relationships with healthy boundaries. In fact, the only relationships you should have are ones where healthy boundaries are regularly discussed. And if you're like, you know what, you're crossing a boundary with me, you should be able to talk to that person about it without them getting upset, without them gaslighting you, without doing anything like that. That is the only relationships that you should be in. Boundaries are really just answers to questions that are asked of you. When you think about it that way, somebody asks you a question, you give them an answer. That is just a boundary. Boundaries are decisions that you make every day, like choosing whether or not you're going to eat ice cream because you know it's going to make your tummy rumble and your health is a priority to you. So you set a boundary not to eat ice cream, even if your friends invite you out for ice cream. So let's make these decisions that you have to make every day easier by breaking them down into 3 easy steps. So, step 1, get into the habit of asking yourself, does this support the life that I am creating? It's interesting. I used to say, does this support the life that I'm trying to create? But, babe, you're not trying to do anything. You are doing it. You are already living it. You are already embodying it. So, does this support the life that I am creating for myself? Think about the life it is that you are creating for yourself. What does it look like? What does it taste like? What does it feel like for you? Really envisioning this is pivotal in how you create boundaries because you shouldn't be doing anything that doesn't support the life that you are creating for yourself. So, the highest version of yourself, when you close your eyes and you see her in your dreams and you envision her and you see everything it is that she is, Ask yourself, is she saying yes or no to this decision? If somebody comes up to you and says, hey, can you do this for me? Does the future version of you that already has everything you desire, is she saying yes or no to this request or to this question? If she's saying no, then you're saying no. If she's saying yes, then you're saying yes. That is how you bring the highest version of yourself and the future version of yourself to you faster, by embodying her energy right now. So anytime you are asked a question, anytime you are given a request, ask yourself, does this support the life that I am creating for myself? And if the answer is a full body, like hell yes, then you're doing it. If you're unsure about it, we'll talk about that in step 2. But if you're like, no, she's not doing that, then you're not doing that either. Okay. Okay, so that's step 1. Moving on to step 2. Step 2, normalize taking your time with making decisions. Right now, when you think about creating boundaries, it's normally because people are asking you to do things that you don't want to do, or they're asking you to be someone that you aren't, or someone that you don't want to be. And you need to normalize giving them a slow ass response. Okay. If someone asks you to take their kids to school, it's okay to say, I have to think about it and see how my body feels in a few hours. And when they pressure you for an answer, you need to remember that their problems are not yours to solve. And I know that that's difficult for a lot of you, especially who's watching this video, because you're used to giving everybody, all of you, you're used to giving everybody all of the attention that they need and self-sacrificing. But the same way that you train these people to rely on you, you can train them to go find somebody else to do it. Okay? Somebody else's sense of urgency does not constitute an emergency on your part. Somebody's lack of planning does not mean that you have to step in and do something to save them. Okay? And the reason why you feel like you need to save people is another reason why you keep attracting people to you that need saving. And then you wonder why you ain't got no boundaries, because you are surrounded by a bunch of people who want to be saved by you. Am I calling you out, or is I not calling you out? Okay. Anytime you are pressed with a decision, this is exactly where you learn to create boundaries, because boundaries, again, are simply answers to questions and decisions that you make. It's okay to process your answer. It's okay to take time and provide a response that it is in alignment with who you actually are and what you're actually feeling in that moment. If people wanted answers out of you sooner, they should have asked you sooner. Why should you be rushing? Okay. I think another caveat here that I talk about a lot too is human design. And a good portion of, I think it's over half of the human population are like emotional generators, or people with an emotional authority. When you have an emotional authority in human design, that means when you're presented with a question or a decision to make, you're going to have an emotional high about it and you're going to have an emotional low about it. You shouldn't be making decisions when you're at the high or at the low. You have to come to a point where you reach a neutral state where you feel neither good nor bad in that decision making process. And so if you're answering at your high or answering at your low, you're going to feel a lot of regret because you weren't emotionally neutral. So take your time in answering these questions. Even if you are a sacral generator, which is someone with a sacral authority, because sacrals are only generators or manifesting generators. Even if you have that kind of authority and you're meant to make decisions like that, it's okay to not tell people as soon as you have the decision either. Let them sweat. It's okay to say, oh, I already know my answer, but they were disrespectful of my time and they were rushing me. I don't need to do anything for them. Okay. Okay. All right. Again, if people wanted answers out of you sooner, they should have asked you sooner. Stop training people to rely on you when you don't want to be seen as that person anymore. Stop training people to need you when you don't want to be seen as that person anymore. That is how you create boundaries. Okay. All right. And step 3, saying no to things that don't support the life that you are creating. And now I know this is going to be the hardest part for you guys, actually saying no. N-O. Nada. Nine. Not happening. That is not something that comes natural to you, because your years and years of conditioned people pleasing is keeping you from saying no to stuff that doesn't serve you. So how do we find comfort in saying no, right? First, we have to regulate our nervous system around having the words come out of our mouth. Okay. And so, really quickly, we're going to breathe in a couple of times with intention. So that way you can kind of feel how it feels to have the words no come out of your mouth. So, I want you to breathe in everything that you want for yourself. And I want you to exhale all of the things not meant for you and saying no with your exhale. So let's try that a few times. Inhaling, breathing in health and wealth. Exhaling, exhaustion and disrespect. Exhaling, no. Inhaling, healing and abundance. Exhaling, people pleasing and an unregulated nervous system. No. One more time. Inhaling, healing and abundance. Exhaling, no. Everything in our mind and in our happiness and in our life comes back to the breath. And if you can breathe, you can find yourself again. Okay? So when you're feeling it difficult to say no, come back to the breath. And this practice goes hand in hand with taking your time and responding to people when setting your boundaries. Make your decisions as slowly as you need to and take as long as you need to send a text with the words like, no, I won't be doing that in it. And your hands might be shaky and your palms might be sweaty, but it's going to feel so good for you to stick up for yourself. And you'll find that most people will actually figure this shit out for themselves when they aren't relying on you for every little thing. So I would love to know how boundary setting is feeling for you in this moment. Does it feel more possible now? Because that is part of the homework that I want to give you right now for the end of this episode. I want you to practice saying no. I want you to create a boundary for yourself that you're going to implement over the next few days. And I want you to put in the comments what you do for yourself. And if you found this video helpful, please subscribe to the channel, like and share it with someone that you know needs to hear it. I'm really trying to grow my brand over here on YouTube, and I would love to have you be a part of my world and to get a notification every single time I put something out. Thanks so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed one of my newer videos. Catch you next time.